Hello. Um, Listen, I had a request from one of the students asking me if I could cover up just a quick little blurb about the word super. So I thought what I would do, rather than just explaining through chat, which was considerably more difficult, or even writing up a Word document, I thought I'd just put together a short little video. So I don't think more than about maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes at the most, I think we'll be through this. I want to keep the example as simple as possible so that I can focus on the actual word super and how you would end up having to use it. Okay, so if you see my little application here, I don't have very much. It's just an empty thing. There's no GUI involved. It's just going to be a single console.log at the end just to see what's going on. What I've done is I've created this class called a message, and of course a message has a sender in the actual message, so that would be different people sending different messages. And I decided to make this thing called a chat room. The chat room, of course, is just a list of all of the messages, and I've also included the name of the room as well as part of the constructor. And all I'm going to do is I've got one function in here called transmit m. Okay, so you create a message, and all that we're doing to transmit in is we're just pushing that message into the message list, nothing else. Okay, so here we go. Here's CP3230. Okay, and this is all I'm doing is I've created this new chat room called room. The name of the chat room is CP3230. That goes in as the constructor parameter, and I've transmitted three different messages, and I'm just console logging the room. Okay, so over here, let me reload this page because I've now added that room, and you can see I've got the three messages. Okay, so that's all. There's nothing funny about this. All right, now let's go off and actually try to build up some different types of chat rooms. I debated for some time about having different types of messages, and I thought, no, in order to cover this one, let's suppose that we have a brand new type of a chat room. Okay, because I think this will end up covering both things. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have something called an anonymous, uh, anon, anonymous, there we go, anonymous chat room. Okay, and of course what I want to do is I want to extend this chat room, extends chat room. All right, so what does an anonymous chat room do? Well, it makes everybody anonymous. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you transmit a message, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the person's name does not actually appear. What we'll do is we'll replace it with the word anonymous. Okay, or actually, maybe what we'll do is let's do it like this. So we'll end up replacing the first four letters with stars, and we'll leave everything else the same. Okay, so something like this. So of course, what do we need? Well, first of all, what I'm going to need is I'm definitely going to need a constructor. And you know what? I still need a room name, okay, regardless of what this is. And I'm going to leave this empty for a second. And guess what? I'm still going to have a transmit function, but of course, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, now, number one. Because this particular anonymous chat room is really a chat room, first of all, I inherit everything from chat room. So therefore, my anonymous chat room has a message list and it has a room name. Okay, but it goes a little bit further than that. It is not only does it have these features, it actually has that entire object inside as well. And unfortunately, what you need to do in order to construct one of these things is you actually have to call the word super. Okay, and what I'm referring to when I say the word super, I'm talking about the constructor of my derived class or my inherited class. So because I'm inheriting from chat room, when I call the word super, I'm actually referring to the thing here called chat room. Okay, and of course what I need is I need to call it with this. Now, suppose I wanted to have something else in here. Let's have a not only a room name, but maybe also let's call it the secret character. Okay, and that's going to be like the star. And I'm going to pass in both of these. So we'll call it secret. Okay, and we'll say this secret is equal to the parameter called secret. Okay, so what I'm doing when I create my anonymous chat room, I am first of all starting by creating a chat room itself, and I'm passing in the parameters I required. So the word super here refers to my parents constructor. So what does it do? Well, it looks after setting the room name, and it looks after setting the messages to be an empty list. Okay, so now that's the first thing, is it simply has this extra thing called secret. Now, what do you do inside here? Well, let's start off with something very, very simple. I'm going to take the message as sender, and I'm simply going to mask the name completely. Okay, so what would this mean that I would have to do? Well, we know that we've got a message called M, and all that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the thing called sender, and I'm going to replace it with 3 stars. Okay, so right now, and I'll be back in a second to fix this up a little bit different. Okay, but for right now, it's 3 stars. Okay, now that I've changed the actual message, what else do I need to do? Well, now I need to send it. Okay, what does sending it do? Well, it means that I would take it and push it onto the list. But guess what? I've already got a function built in for doing this type of thing. The function happens to be up here. It's my supers transmit function. So rather than me writing the big transmit function, I mean, yeah, it's only one line here, but you can imagine it might be very, very complicated. But in this case, rather than me rewriting the entire thing, why don't I just call it? And the way how you refer to your parents' functions is you write the word super followed by the name of the thing that you want to use. Okay, so it's called super transmit M, and I don't mean it's a super transmission. I mean, I'm talking about go to my parent and use their function called transmit. Okay, so now what does this mean? Okay, well, let's come down here and we'll change this from a chat room to an anonymous chat room. Okay, here we go. There's an anonymous chat room. What I need to do is I need to put in the character I'd like to replace this with. I know we're not using it yet, but we'll get to that in a second. So now I've got an anonymous chat room. The rest of the program still continues to do the transmission. So you can see I'm still giving the name of the people sending the message, but rather than actually recording that directly, I'm first of all obscuring the name of the person, and then I'm adding it to the list. So I've come over here and I reload the page, and I take a look at now the message list. Oh, well, take a look at this. I made a mistake because I end up using the word send instead of the word sender. Okay, well, I suppose I could edit that out, but you know what? Let me leave it in here. Sorry, sender. Okay, I didn't spell it correctly. Let's try this again. Okay, this time when I fix it up correctly, you see what's happened is now this is actually being replaced by the 3 stars. Now, a couple of things that I could do. Okay, first of all, what I could pass in is, well, maybe I could pass in a bunch of question marks, and this becomes the secret. Okay, so rather than using star star star, I could say this dot secret. So now you see, when I create the anonymous chat room, I'm saying we'll replace all of the names with 4 question marks. Okay, so this time you'll see that all of the senders have been replaced by 4 question marks, and we could do more interesting things here by maybe replacing the second, third, fourth, fifth letters, but leaving the first letter, so at least you have some idea about who's involved with this. So there's many different things. Okay, so there's the idea. So I hope this doesn't make it too long, but you can see the 2 uses of the word super. Inside the constructor, if you create a brand new class that extends something, chances are, well, in fact, we know already you have to call the word super, because if I remove this altogether and you try loading this, it actually complains and it says you must call the super constructor. So that's actually a requirement here. So if you forget that, you're going to be told, but that's what it means. It means that you have not called your parent's constructor. The other way how you can end up seeing the word super is if you want to refer to a function in your parent's class. So in this case, I could have written this message push M directly, but instead I've decided to call my parent's constructor because maybe it does a bunch of things already. Okay, so I hope this ends up helping to explain the purpose of this magic word super. Okay, see you later.